13th of July 2022. Let us quickly see the important articles that are listed for today's discussion. So in today's discussion, we are going to discuss multiple topics. These topics range from science and technology, Indian polity, art and culture, and other areas. Okay, so let us quickly look into these topics one by one. The first topic is related to retail inflation. Okay, it says at above 7% retail inflation stays stubborn. Okay, this topic is related to Indian economy. So in this article, we are going to talk about like how retail inflation has stayed on a very high level from like many months, and this month also the retail inflation is above 7%. So we are going to understand about its implication in Indian economy, and we are going to understand how retail inflation can be curbed, okay, how it can be tackled. The next article is related to Supreme Court bench to defer hearing in ACB case. Okay, ACB stands for Anti-Corruption Bureau. Okay, ACB stands for Anti-Corruption Bureau. So like Supreme Court of India has deferred hearing. Deferred means like it has postponed, that we are going to hear this particular case at a later date. So we are going to talk about this particular Anti-Corruption Bureau related matter and what was the controversy between the government official and the High Court judge. Okay. So because this particular case came from a High Court to the Supreme Court of India, that's why I am talking about High Court judge. Okay, this topic is important like from the viewpoint of Indian polity. After this, we are going to discuss about another topic. It says center has no new data on child labor. Okay, so when it comes to welfare of the children in India, right? So we take multiple measures. The government of India, various NGOs, they take multiple measures for the welfare of the children. But like one of the key aspect is that like children should not be doing child labor. I mean, children should not be forced to do any kind of labor. So this article tries to ponder about what data does the government has to see the level of child labor prevalent in the country. And after doing a thorough research, they have found that government does not have any new data related to child labor. So we are going to talk about the grim reality related to it, and also we are going to discuss about like how it impacts the future of children in India. After this, we are going to discuss about another topic. It says NASA telescope dives deep into the universe. Okay, so NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. It is a space agency of the United States of America. So one of the one of the telescope that NASA has launched is known as Hubble Space Telescope. That Hubble Space telescope has taken picture of very deep into the space, means like very far away picture using that particular Hubble Space Telescope. We are going to learn about it in detail. We are going to talk about the significance of the Hubble Space Telescope. Okay. So this topic is important under science and technology section. It is important for the prelims exam and also for the mains exam under GS paper 3. Then we are going to discuss about another topic. It says industrial output jumps 19.6%. So when it comes to industrial output, basically like how do we measure it? We measure using index of industrial production. And we are going to talk about in this article, we are going to discuss like which organization releases the index of industrial production, and also we are going to talk about like like how has the industrial output gone up, means like when industrial output goes up, it showcases that like there is huge demand in the economy. That's why supply level is also increasing. So we are going to talk about market dynamics related to this. Okay, this is an economy article. It is important for the prelims and for mains paper. After this, we are going to discuss about impact of inflation on India's poor negligible. Okay, so in this article, Miss Nirmala Sitharaman, she is the finance minister of India. She has cited the report of UNDP, United Nations Development Program. Okay, so UNDP has come up with a report, and in that report they have talked about that like what is the role of inflation in the livelihoods of poor people. and according to the UNDP report, it has been cited that like it plays very negligible role. I mean like it has very negligible consequences on the livelihood opportunities for the poor. Okay, it has very less impact on on the poor in India. And after this we are going to talk about another article. It says create more jobs, revamp employment policy. Okay, so this article actually talks about like government of India should create more jobs. They should revamp means they should restructure the employment policy so that like we can employ more people in government sector. As of now, the level of employment is very low. Unemployment level is rising year on year. So we are going to talk about the employment related situation, and also we are going to talk about the way forward in this article. So this is also going to be a very important article for the Indian economy. Okay, so with this we are going to take the first topic now. So this particular topic talks about retail inflation. So before we discuss about retail inflation, let us understand what do we mean by inflation. Inflation is generally the rise of prices of goods and services. For example, today if you are buying something at rupees 100, okay, today you are buying something at rupees 100. After a year, if you want to buy the same good, let's consider you want to buy the same good, you may have to pay, let's consider 110 rupees or 115 rupees. Okay, you are purchasing essentially the same good, but like you are paying more money. How much more money you are paying? You are paying 10% more, 10% more. It simply means that the inflation has risen by 10% on a year. Okay, means like purchasing power of the money, means like you are giving more money to purchase the same good. Purchasing power of the money is reducing, and at the same time prices of goods and services is increasing. Means like to purchase the goods or services you are paying more money. That is known as inflation. Okay, so here in this article they talk about at above 7% retail inflation stays in stubborn. Means like the retail inflation is not coming down 7% level. Okay, it is staying above 7%. So like if the inflation levels are very high, it impacts the consumers at large. Consumers end up paying more money to purchase the same level of goods and services. Okay, this is not good. I mean like from the consumer's viewpoint, because like consumers would like to purchase the things at a cheaper rate, but like when inflation is high, they have to pay more money to purchase the same goods. Okay, so let's discuss about this particular article. So in this article they have taken into account multiple different types of indices. One of the index is known as consumer price index. Okay, apart from this they have this consumer food price index. Okay, so these indexes showcases that like the level of inflation in the food products, okay, is increasing. Okay, it is increasing. So India's retail inflation inched lower to 7.01% in June from May 7.04%. Okay, so like they have given multiple figures over here just to showcase, I mean like what is the level of retail inflation in India. Okay, so this is the thing, means like inflation is up, so it becomes difficult for the consumers to buy goods and services. Okay, so for those people whose income is not increasing, it is very difficult for them to survive. Okay, so this is the thing. With this, let us talk about another article. Here in this article we are going to discuss about Supreme Court's stand on a case that involves Anti-Corruption Bureau. Okay, this particular case involves Anti-Corruption Bureau. So let us discuss about this thing. This article says Supreme Court bench to defer hearing in Anti-Corruption Bureau case. Top court to look into the order just said he was threatened with transfer. Okay, now let us discuss about the issue over here. So what has happened? One of the Karnataka High Court judge was hearing a case that involves Anti-Corruption Bureau top officials of the state of Karnataka. Okay, that High Court judge was looking into the affair, how Anti-Corruption Bureau was performing, and also it was hearing a case related to a very top level official in the Anti-Corruption Bureau. Okay, so now the top official also has political involvement. Okay, So in this case, like the Anti-Corruption Bureau has sought, leave petition from this particular case from the, from from that particular high court judge bench. Means like in the high courts, what happens, they create benches of one single judge, two judge, three judge and all. So let's consider one particular case is being heard by one particular judge. Then the petitioner, okay, they can apply for, a leave petition in such a manner that like the same case will be heard by the same court, but through a different bench of judges. Okay, so in this case they have sought the case to be heard by the Chief Justice of the state of Karnataka, Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court. So in this case, what has happened, this particular judge who was earlier hearing the case, right, he has told the Supreme Court of India that that judge was threatened that he will be transferred. Okay, he will be transferred. Now here comes the question, I mean like how a government official, I mean like can influence a particular case in such a manner that even judges are being threatened. Okay, so this is a case where like judiciary and what we say, the government agencies are at loggerheads, I would say. Okay, so now the case is still about to unfold. We are going to witness how it is going to unfold, but as of now, the Supreme Court of India has asked the Karnataka High Court judge, the judge who was involved, to defer the case, to hear the case at a later date. So in this article they have discussed about this particular case in detail. So they have discussed about name of the judge, he is Justice H.P. Sandesh. Okay, so this particular judge was hearing the case, and the officials who are involved in this case are ADGP, okay, Simant Kumar Singh. ADGP means official of the State Anti-Corruption Bureau. And in this case, the judge has said the Anti-Corruption Bureau to be a collection center. And he also said that this particular officer, okay, means ADGP Simant Kumar Singh, was a tainted officer. So here, in this article, they have mentioned about the, upcoming issue that is there. Okay, so now, we still need to see what was the case all about, why there is a controversy, what role the Supreme Court of India is going to play. So the more you learn about this article, the more you will understand about the dynamics that that plays role in top level government agencies involving top level officials and the judges of the High Court or maybe of the Supreme Court of India. Okay, so in this July order, okay, so the petitioners, they said how he was subjected to a veiled threat of transfer, that too through a sitting judge of the High Court, unless he laid off the ACB and its top officers. So now we are still going to see how it is going to unfold. So this is a case that is in progress. Okay, so as of now nothing has been concluded. Okay, the case is still going to be heard. So this is going to help you understand about political dynamics that happens, right, among different agencies. After this, let us understand about another article. It says center has no new data on child labor. Okay, child labor, I mean when it comes to an economy like India. So Indian economy has one of the largest population, and at the same time this is the fastest growing, this is one of the fastest growing economy in the world. So here, the more we nourish the children, the more we allow them to study, the more we allow them to prosper in their life, okay, they are going to bring the nation forward. So in this regard, we need to reduce the level of unemployment, we need to reduce the level of child labor, okay, in the country. So reducing child labor not only plays role for Indian economy at large, but it also brings those children out of the grim cycle of poverty, because when childs are kept out of child labor, they will be allowed to study. Okay, so for this we need proper data. Okay, the agencies need proper data so that they can formulate policies. But in this article it was it is said that government does not have any new data, means government has some data, but this data is very past, very old data. Okay, so center has no new data on child labor. The numbers brought arose after the NCLP was merged with the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan 2016. Okay, so recently what has happened, one of the organization which is National Child Labor Project, okay, so one of the projects of the government of India, it has been monitoring the issue of child labor for about 3 decades. But this particular organization is finding it very difficult to gather data on child labor. So this organization has recently noticed that even the labor ministry, okay, even the labor ministry have told the parliamentary standing committee on labor that was it does not have, this particular ministry does not have the records of the child labor, okay, they do not have records of the child labor. So now so the data is missing since 2016, because in the year of 2016 they had Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, okay. So during that time they have merged the data of the census of 2011, okay, because 2011 census also had socio-economic and caste census, okay. So they have merged the data from 2011 census, which says that country has more than 1 million child laborers, okay. But after then, okay, no new research has been done, no new data is available. When the data is not available, how the government is going to make policies related to child labor, how it is going to eliminate child labor from India. Even International Labour Organization is also very concerned about child labor globally, okay. So they keep on publishing different reports, and some of the reports also highlight different countries including India. Now here this organization has said, this National Child Labor Project, it said, searching for proper data on child labor, the standing committee, which committee? Parliamentary Standing Committee on Labor, reached out 14 union ministries and departments, including the Home Ministry, Women, Child Development Ministry and several states. Almost all the ministries have told us that they do not have any data. The Labour Ministry says that we may have to wait till the next census to make an assessment of the number. The NCLP's schools for child laborers work for 3 to 4 years, and they have also more or less stopped functioning due to scarcity of funds, okay. So now here, when we talk about National Child Labor Project, so they were earlier working, but because this particular project, I mean, they were not properly funded, so they have virtually stopped working also. So this is the thing. Now, when we talk about Education Ministry even does not have the data of the child labor, okay. It is for the first time that a parliamentary panel is engaged in a detailed examination of the national policy on child labor. The members said, though we have legislation, the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act since 1986, the menace of child labor is continue unchecked, okay. So this is the thing, I mean, this particular parliamentary standing committee, they have also met with the officials of many NGOs, and these NGOs are Bachpan Bachao Andolan, then Aided at Action, Children India Foundation, Prayas Juvenile Aid Center, Save the Children, SOS Children Villages appeared before the panel on the issue. The NGOs also do not have any proper assessment of the number of children in labor, okay. So now here this report actually highlights that the Parliamentary Standing Committee, after consulting with 14 ministries, after consulting with Education Ministry, Home Ministry, Women and Child Development Ministry, and also after consultation with many NGOs that are working for the betterment of the children, they have found that there is an adequate there is an inadequacy of data, means data is lacking on child labor, okay. So this is the thing. So you can utilize this point to highlight in one of your answers whenever you are talking about welfare of Indian society, whenever you are talking about welfare of the children, okay. So this is what they have mentioned in this article. So this topic is relevant from social justice perspective. After this, we are going to discuss about another topic. It says NASA telescope dives deep into the universe. James Webb telescope captures, images. So here the telescope that is concerned is James Webb Space Telescope. Okay, it is not Hubble Space Telescope. It is James Webb Space Telescope. Okay, NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So this is one of the premier, space agencies of the world. This is the space agency of the United States of America. Okay, so NASA's telescopes dives deep into the universe. Okay, so NASA has recently unveiled images, means like it has released images from the James Webb Space Telescope, and this particular telescope is the largest and the most powerful orbital observatory ever launched. Okay, when we talk about James Webb Space Telescope, this is the largest and the most powerful orbital observatory that has ever been launched. Okay, so after this picture actually showcases the nature of the universe. It has taken images of deep down in the universe, how the universe looks like. This is the image, okay, that we can see over here. So nearly 2 decades in the making, the 9 billion infrared telescope was launched on December 25, 2021. Okay, so this particular telescope, they have invested about $9 billion for just one telescope, and it was launched in December 25, 2021, means like on the Christmas day, and it reached its destination in solar orbit nearly 1 million miles from Earth a month later. Okay, so it has reached the solar orbit, okay, which is 1 million miles away from the Earth within a month itself. The crowning debut image was a deep field photo of distant galaxy cluster, and name of the galaxy cluster is SMACS 0723. Okay, name of the cluster is SMACS 0723. This is a very important keyword. It may be asked in the prelims exam. Okay, so James Webb Space Telescope, it has taken picture of a very distant galaxy cluster SMACS 0723, revealing the most detailed glimpse of the early universe recorded to date. Amongst the Webb subjects were 2 most enormous clouds of gas and dust blasted into space by stellar explosion. Means like they have mentioned multiple things, and so the collection also included fresh images of another galaxy cluster known as Stephan's quintet. So it is also very important keyword. Stephan's quintet is the name of a galaxy. If we talk about SMACS 0723 and Stephan's quintet, okay, they are names of galaxies. Okay, so it may be asked in the prelims exam. Okay, so these they may ask this name and this name were in news recently. So what does these name represent? They can give name of distant galaxies, name of this thing, name of that thing. Okay, so name of distant galaxies. With this, let us talk about another topic. This is also a very important article. It says industrial output jumps 19.6%. Industrial output jumps 19.6%. What do we mean by this? Means the output, the production level in the industries are going up. When the production level is going up, so supply side is getting strengthened. So it will be able to meet the demand side requirement. Okay, so this is the thing. When industrial output goes up, it showcases a positive trend in the economy. When we are producing more, we will be able to supply more goods in the economy, and also we will be able to export more goods outside the economy, so that we can earn money from the foreign market. Okay, so the industrial output, India's industrial output grew 19.6% in May, the fastest pace of growth in 12 months, with overall production rising to 2.3% from April and surpassing the pre-pandemic level by 1.7%. So this is a healthy trend. I would say this is a good trend for the Indian economy. Okay, the National Statistical Office, okay, this particular office releases, National Statistical Office, this office releases the provisional index of industrial production. Okay, so you may be asked the index of industrial production is released by which organization? It is released by National Statistical Office, okay, and this office has given this particular data, okay, and apart from this they have mentioned multiple data and all, so we don't need to go into those figures. We need to understand about the broad picture. Broad picture is like production is going up, so like supply will go up, demand will be met, okay, we will be able to export more items, so it is a healthy trend for the economy because economy is going to gain money out of it, okay. So consumer durables production, it has also turned positive, means like those goods that are used for consumer durables, means like there can be multiple things. If we talk about slippers, if we talk about watches, these are consumer durables, okay, consumers use it, I mean like for their day to day purposes, so their production has also gone up, okay. It is a healthy trend, and relative to the pre-COVID level of May 2019, the performance was decidedly mixed, with the capital goods, consumer durables and consumer non-durables trailing the primary goods, infrastructure goods and intermediate goods, posting a rise in May 2022, okay. The rating agency expects IIP growth to moderate to a range of 11 to 13% in June before slipping back to the single digit growth in the second quarter, okay. So now this particular topic is very important. The last line, it says the rating agency means this organization, National Statistical Office, it expects that index of industrial production, okay, will moderate to a range of 11 to 13%, means like index of industrial production will have a production range from 11% to 13% in June, and so then it will slip back to the single digit number, maybe 9%, as the base effect impaired output from the deadly second COVID wave, okay, last year. So they have also mentioned, I mean like the effect of COVID. Now let us talk about another article. This article actually seems to be very much connected with the first topic that we discussed, okay. First topic we discussed was related to, I mean like inflation level, retail inflation level. So here in this article we are going to discuss impact of inflation on India's poor negligible. It was said by Miss Sitharaman, Nirmala Sitharaman. So FM stands for Finance Minister, okay. The Finance Minister cites UNDP report, says government's welfare schemes effective, okay. So recently United Nations Development Program, okay, this is one of the, I mean like agencies of the United Nations organization. It is an associated organ of the United Nations organization, okay. So the United Nations Development Program has come up with a report, and in that report they have mentioned that like inflation have very less impact on the poor, okay. And Nirmala Sitharaman, the Finance Minister of India, has found this opportunity to showcase the effectiveness of the government schemes that are in place, okay. So using this particular data, the Finance Minister of India, she has showcased multiple government initiatives, multiple government schemes that are in effect from last 2 years, and they that have actually cushioned the like impact of inflation for the poor. I mean like poor are not hit, they are not impacted by the rise in the inflation level, okay. So the impact of inflation on India's poor, would be negligible as per United Nations Development Program report on, okay. So this is the name of the organization that has released the report, and this is the name of the report that has been released, okay. So let me read the name of the report for you, so that like you can use it for your answer. Addressing the cost of living crisis in developing countries, okay. Name of the report is Addressing the Cost of Living Crisis in Developing Countries, which also looked at the ripple effect of Russia-Ukraine war, such as energy and food market disruptions. The Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman cited UNDP's conclusions in the report to emphasize that India's well-tailored programs carried out over the past 2 years to support people and ensure they don't run the risk of slipping into poverty seem to have made an impact. While soaring food and energy prices could push up to 71 million people around the world into poverty, the UNDP said that the report said in the report that the chances of those in India earning $1.9 a day slipping into poverty due to this upturn would be zero, while the impact would be a mere 0.02% to 0.04% if a poverty line of $3.30 or $5.50 a day was assumed, okay, respectively. So this is the thing, I mean, like, in this report, the United Nations Development program, they have cited healthy trend in India that, like, even due to Russia-Ukraine war, I mean, like, food supplies are getting disrupted around the world. Many countries in the world are facing difficulty at this difficult moment, but like Indian economy, I mean, like, the poor in India are going to be impacted very less, okay. So this is the thing, I mean, like, this is the thing. So this is a healthy picture, this is a good what we say, this is a good forecast, I would say, but like, if it happens this way, it is right, it is going to be a healthy thing for the poor. So a recent comparative assessment of price and income support measures shows that the targeted transfers helps poorer households cope up with price spikes. The center has allocated more than 1,000 lakh tons of food grains from April 2020 till September this year, over and above the food security quota, and had provided support of 1,500 to 20 crore women Jan Dhan account holders in the first 3 months of the pandemic, okay. So this is the thing. Here in this article, what is most important for us is to understand about United Nations Development Program, its association with the United Nations organization. Apart from this, the name of the report, and this report has said that, like, the impact of inflation will be very less on the poor, or on Indian poor, okay. So this is the thing. Now this topic, this is an editorial topic, it was there in the editorial today, and this is very important for us because, like, unemployment is something that has been in news, I mean, like, over the years, and this year, I mean, like, there has been multiple incidences related to unemployment. For example, like, we have Agniveer scheme, like one of the scheme that is there, many people are protesting against it. Apart from this, some of the like recruitment exams have been cancelled by the government related to railway. That time also we have seen, I mean, lot of people protesting against it, okay. So the thing is, like, employment is something that is of deep concern for Indian economy, for the government, for the younger people, for the youth, and for their parents, okay. This is something that is a really important topic, and like we may expect some question maybe in essay, we may expect a question maybe in economy paper, GS paper 3, we may also expect question in Indian society, and like we may expect question in under social justice section in GS paper 2 and all. So this topic becomes a very important topic, that can be asked anywhere like in your examination. So it is important that you understand the picture related to unemployment in India and how we are trying to tackle the level of unemployment in India, okay. So let's discuss about this topic in detail. So it says, create more jobs, revamp employment policy. The government's 10 lakh job creation plan does not appear to have factored in the ground realities, okay. The author is saying the government has a plan to create 10 lakh jobs, but the thing is, the author is also highlighting that just creating 10 lakh jobs will not be sufficient because the level of unemployment is really high, okay. The level of unemployment is around 30 million, means like 300 lakh, means 3 crore people, I mean, like, need job, okay. 3 crore people need job, I mean, like, they are unemployed. So just creating 10 lakh job will not be sufficient. And apart from this, not only 30 million people are jobless, but apart from this, 5 to 7 million people are adding up every year who are joining the jobless portion of the economy, okay. So let's discuss about this article in detail. So it says the government of India has recently announced its plan to create 10 lakh government jobs in the next 18 months. Of about 40 lakh sanctioned posts, 22% posts are now vacant, and the government will fill these posts in 18 months, okay. So earlier the government of India has sanctioned or created 40 lakh posts, but like out of those posts 22% are still vacant, and the government of India wants to, I mean like like recruit people in those vacancies, against those vacancies. So though the announcement has been called a historic step in the interest of the youth, and as raising a new hope and confidence among youth by some of the top government leaders, the plan has serious problems. Okay, so this particular plan has very serious problem. Now let us understand about this particular topic in detail, and let us see like what can be the repercussions if we don't create enough number of jobs for our youths. If youths are not employed, so like they will not be able to take care of themselves, they will not be able to take care of their families, families financial needs, they will not be able to take care of their parents financial needs and all. So the thing is, this creates a vicious cycle for the society. This creates a vicious cycle for the poor, because people who are poor now, their children are going to be poor, their grandchildren are going to be poor. Why? Because like they will be having lesser opportunities to go to school, go to colleges, to explore higher education, and to go to good well-paying jobs. So this is the thing. Now this is the right time that the government of India should be taking multiple steps, so that like we can create many jobs. Okay, many jobs. Why? Because giving jobs to like youngsters or to the youths is an important aspect for a growing economy like India. So here now the author is asking multiple questions from the government. The first question is, how is the government managing now in the absence of more than fifth of the required number of staff? The author is saying that like government has 1/5 of the total number of staff requirement vacant. Let's say for example 100 jobs, 100 posts should be there, but 20 posts are vacant. So how is the government managing without the these staffs? This is the first question from the author, and the author is saying there are as many as 8.72 lakh positions that were vacant in various departments of the central government. And this was told by the Minister of State in Personal Public Grievances and Pensions, Jitendra Prasad. Okay, so this particular minister has told to the Rajya Sabha that like they have 8.72 lakh positions vacant in various departments of the central government. And apart from this, like if we add up some more vacancies, for example, if we include state government jobs, if we include serious shortages of staffs in various other other departments, so like this will add up, this will add up to become 30 lakh jobs that are vacant, 30 lakh positions that are vacant. So as of now the government of India is managing with lesser number of staffs, and managing with lesser number of staffs means like you are not giving adequate opportunities for the people, for the youth, to explore their potential. Okay, so another major concern, like when we talk about the quality, okay, quality, so another major concern is about quality of employment that will be generated through this plan. The share of contract workers in total government employment has been increasing rapidly in recent years. So here the author is saying that government of India is increasing the number of people who are in contract jobs. Government of India is not giving sufficient employment in the permanent jobs. Okay, so like if we are having more contractual jobs, so what will happen? Many people will be under contractual positions for a year, for 3 years, like that, and after then they will be unemployed. So people who are unemployed, they are not going to have greater thing in play. So there are honorary workers such as Anganwadi workers, their helpers, accredited social health activist workers, etc. These employees of the government earn a lower salary, consolidated wages, and are not entitled to decent work conditions, International Labour Organization recommendation, including a minimum package of social security. So here the author is saying like we need to create more jobs. More jobs are needed. Here the government is saying that the author is saying that the government should not rely on the private sector only for creating job. It should itself create more jobs so that like more number of youths can be employed in the government sector. Okay, so this is the thing. Here the author is saying it is important to note here that the performance of the private sector in creating employment opportunities has remained dismal. Means like even the private sector is also creating lesser number of jobs nowadays. Okay, so now government should intervene here. They should themselves create more jobs. Okay, so we should we should focus on basic needs. As is claimed, if the government is really in mission mode to provide employment to the unemployed and to the youth, it will have to do much more than what has been announced. To start with, the government will have to create more employment within the government. Okay, the main suggestion of the author is the government should create more employment within the government itself. Okay, and we believe that the government will have to take responsibility for meeting the basic needs without depending on privatization. Okay, at least for the bottom 40% of the population. The first task for the government would be to take much better direct care of basic well-being, human development and human resource development, and the basic infrastructure of the bottom population without privatization in these areas. Another major task would also be to reorient the industrialization policy to focus on labor intensive sectors of the economy and promote micro, small and medium enterprises and informal production by ensuring better technology and higher productivity. So here the author is highlighting the need and the importance of creating more jobs through the private sector, also by enabling the private sector, I mean get like technological resources and financial resources at a very cheaper cost. Okay, so this is the thing. So working capital requirement can also be met. Okay, working capital requirement of these small scale industries must be met by the government. Okay, when we talk about urban employment, and finally considering the fact that the urban economy has been badly hurt by the pandemic, a carefully designed urban employment guarantee program would be most desirable to create ample urban employment avenues for urban youth. The urban program should include, okay, here the author is suggesting that like when we want to create more jobs in the urban area, these particular program can include the following. Okay, it can include basic urban services where the youth would get special training so that they can be absorbed in the mainstream economy. Daycare centers set up for child care to enable women to reduce their unpaid services and to ensure quality care for children, and infrastructural gaps filled in under construction work to facilitate quality of urban life. If the gesture of filling vacant post in the government is part of the mission employment, it will have to be followed by radical changes in the government's employment policy. Here the author is also suggesting that if government really wants to create employment in a mission mode, in that case they have to revamp the policy. They have to create employment policy in such a manner that like it is actually addressing the need of employment in India. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, this is the thing, like in this article, like we have got multiple points that we can cite related to employment related things. Okay, so that's all for the day from my side today. Thank you so much everyone for attending the session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.